Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada, where we have just kicked off the long weekend for Family Day. It's a weekend where families get together and do family activities. It's a beautiful holiday, and I hope many of you are also getting to enjoy this holiday as well. Students, in this class, we are looking at speaking part 2, talking about a person who we know that is good with money. This class is February 18th, not 17th, and it is a subscriber chat class, so make sure to subscribe now to join our chat. And I can see that we've got lots of students already in the class. Welcome Shahil, Guldana, Amrit. Good to see our chat moderator Carolina. Welcome everyone. Nice to see all of you waiting and ready to learn. Again, it's a subscriber chat class. Subscribe now to join our chat. Students, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com, where we have lots of videos, interactive courses, practice exams. You can also get our apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help right there. You see it. And Instagram, also right there. IELTS_AEhelp and GIELTS Help. We have our live schedule on our Instagram and YouTube channel, and on our website we have all of the tools that you need to pass your next IELTS exam. Click this big red button to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment, and you can use this as long as you need to improve your English and pass your IELTS exam. You simply just click this Join Now button, and then use the coupon code. And you have this code right now, I get 9, which will get you a 30% discount.
Welcome to Academic IELTS Success, world leaders in IELTS skills and strategies to score over 7.
I got 7.5 on the IELTS, and now I'm studying international business, thanks to AEHelp.
I got 7.5 on the IELTS exam, and I study computer science right now. Thank you, AEHelp.
I passed IELTS with 7.5, and I'm studying accounting. Thank you, AEHelp.
Our self-study 100.
Stop the video here, and then hopefully the video is not playing here. All right, and then we'll get back to our lesson here. So join us now. Begin learning. Begin improving. Begin your journey for success. Okay, and if you have any questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, right over there. Okay, and we have speaking part 2 for everyone right now coming up. We'll look at the question in 3 seconds, and then tomorrow we have questions and answers for members, and then speaking part 3 for our subscribers. So here we go. Let's take a look at this. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Speaking part 2. Here's the cue card. Okay, so you're sitting in your IELTS exam, and you've got Henry sitting on top of my head, your examiner. And your examiner has asked you some part 1 questions about your hobbies, about a general topic like cooking, for instance, or chores. I believe that's what we did earlier this week. And then the examiner says, okay, that is the end of part 1. Now we will continue with part 2. For part 2, here are some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. Do not touch the booklet. You will be able to take notes in this 1 minute. There's your pencil and you have your note paper there. And then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Talk about a person who is good with money. You should say who the person is, how is their personality, why are they good with money, what do you want to ask him or her. Okay, so you read the question twice carefully, and then you start to plan for your 1 minute to put together a really good speech. Okay, so again, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, everyone. That's where you want to go for lots of help with your speaking. That's what we're going to use today to practice this part 2 speaking as well. Saeed is asking, is it possible to speak for 1 minute and get a band 9? Not so much, Saeed. When I did my speaking exam, I spoke for more than a minute. I think to give a clear and complete answer, even when you're very fluent, even as an expert speaker, you can talk for at least 90 seconds. So, Saeed, 1 minute is a bit short. I think that, for a band 9 answer, you need at least about 90 seconds to give enough information and detail that the examiner will consider it an expert level of English, which is a band 9. That was a good question, Saeed, because they say you have to talk for 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, is 1 minute enough to get a band 9? Not really. It's kind of like writing only 250 words for task 2. It's not really enough to get a band 9. Okay, so good question. Students, if you have questions like that, like Saeed just asked me in the chat, you can always send me an email. Again, adrian@aehelp.com. That was a good question, Saeed. Okay. All right. So here's the cue card. We're talking about a person who is good with money. The category here is a person. Okay. The category for the cue card is either going to be an object, a person, place, event, or an idea, generally speaking. And here we're talking about a person. When we talk about a person, what should we include to make sure that we give clear and complete information? Okay, so think about this question. What should you say when you want to speak clearly about a person? Okay. So think about that. Okay. All right. Sanjay, to become a member, you have to click the join button next to the subscribe button. Okay. All right. So I want to tell someone about a person who is good with money, and I want to make sure that I have clear, good communication. Okay. So what do you think? What should I include? Saeed says, include a bit about their appearance. Yeah, absolutely. You want to help your listener kind of understand what this person looks like. So you want to put a face and a body next to this individual. Okay. So the appearance, I think, is important. Absolutely. Okay. Hi, Mir Jahan. Hi, all as well. And Simara. Good. Okay. And then Rashika says you want to include the personality and actions. Yeah. So next is personality plus actions. Yeah. And that's basically it, right? So let me give you just a quick example here. So it would be like tall, kind, opens the door for others. Okay, so this would just be a quick example here. This is not answering our question yet. I'm just kind of showing you how you need to think about a person. So this person is tall, they're kind, and they open the door for other people. And that shows that they're kind, right? So this is the clear way to communicate about a person. You talk a little bit about their appearance, so we get a picture of the person, and then you talk about their personality and action. And as long as you're doing that and paying attention to these questions here, you're going to do a good job on this cue card. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right, so you also want to identify the tense. So identify the common tense, or verb tense, I should say, for your response based on there we go, Sanjay. You've become a member. That was good. I love that. You asked the question, how do I become a member? Okay, I became a member. Welcome aboard, Sanjay, to our group of members. That's fantastic. So, so identify the common verb tense for your part 2 response by looking at the cue card. Tense or verb tense. So if we look at this cue card, talk about a person who is good with money. And then who is the person? How is their personality? Why are they good with money? What kind of a tense do you think you should focus on? Okay. A lot of students think, oh, I should just talk about the past, present, and future. But it's a little bit dangerous because the question doesn't necessarily ask you for all of that information. So you have to be a bit more careful than that. You have to pay more attention. Saeed says this is more about the present simple, right? You're talking about a person now. Yeah, I agree with you, Saeed. Yeah. It's a person who is, right? Is now. Okay. Who the person is now. Okay, not was. How is. So it's all kind of this is, which is indicating that it's present tense. Okay. All right. So in our example here, it's present tense. Okay, all right. So good. Now in the next step, we want to come up with a few good ideas to answer for this question. Okay, so come up with 2 to 3 different people to answer this question. So who do you know that's good with money? Give me some ideas, students. Okay. I'm going to say, for example, my friend Brian the banker. Okay. Let's see. Tam says, my mom. Okay. Yeah, Sanjay, bank employee could be. Warren Buffett, Paula. Yeah, could be. Sure. So Warren Buffett, if you know a lot about them. Buffett, stock investor. Yeah, make sure you can talk about them easily. If you choose someone like Warren Buffett, make sure you have the vocabulary to talk about the stock market. Okay, Paula, so careful with that. Okay, Cass says grandfather. Let's give grandfather a name. Grandfather Joe, who is an accountant. Okay, it's good to immediately think of kind of a position that has to do with money so that we can give a bit of information. Now, here's kind of an important point to remember, students, for IELTS. You do not need to speak the truth. You can make up the information completely or partially. We never actually talked about that, but you don't necessarily have to tell a complete lie. You can tell a partial lie. Like maybe your grandfather, Joe, is not really an accountant, but they're really good with money. But to help you give an even better answer for this response, you pretend like your grandfather is an accountant or is a banker. Does that kind of make sense? So if your mom or if your dad or if your friend, if they're good with money and you have some ideas of why they're good with money because they invest into real estate, they can predict when the market is going up or going down. That's fine. And then maybe you can improve your fluency and the detail by making up a little bit of information about them, like they went to business school, they're working as an accountant part-time, and you make that part of their life up, but it will be helpful for your band score to increase. Does that make sense, everybody? So it's not just about telling the truth or telling a lie, but you can also kind of find this middle part where you start with the truth and then you build a little bit of fiction into it. Okay? Does that make sense? What I'm telling you there, that can really help to keep you fluent and to show more of your vocabulary and more of your grammar. Okay, Cass says yes. All right, I wouldn't pick somebody like Elon Musk, who's really popular, because if every second student is choosing Elon Musk, then it's going to get pretty boring for the examiner, and they might start to accidentally compare student levels as well. Okay. Diana says yes as well. Okay, so you do not need to speak the truth. You can make up information completely or partially. All right. Okay, so you can pretend like your grandfather is kind of like Warren Buffett. Hopefully, right? Okay. All right. I wouldn't pick myself. So Shuka's asking, what about you? I wouldn't pick myself. So I wouldn't be like, I'm really good with money. Okay, I don't think that's a good approach to this question. So it's talk about a person who is good with money. Picking yourself, I think, might come off a little bit awkward. Okay, Koa says my current boss. Okay, so yeah, we can do that, Koa. Let's go with the boss, right? All right, so boss, Tim, accountant, financial firm, investor. So we'll go for this idea right now, okay, to build our notes and to complete this speaking. However, don't forget, students, I will be giving you a chance to speak as well. So you will have a chance to practice and try this part 2 in a little bit with me in real time using our website. So we will have some genuine part 2 cue card speaking interviews, and you can try some of these other ideas that we came up with. So friend the banker, Warren Buffett, investor, grandfather Joe the accountant. Okay. All right. So when you're making up your notes, right? First of all, think about the appearance, as we said. So what does your boss look like? Give me some descriptive words for describing a person. Visualize your boss. And you can be stereotypical. So you can say he's a short, stout man, glasses, 50s, right? Blue eyes, all right? Don't go overboard with the description, okay? So don't go overboard with the description. Just a quick description to give an image to the listener. You might want to include something like wears a suit with suspenders. Everybody knows what suspenders are. They're the suspender, the elastic that comes down and around, holds your pants up. The suspenders. I don't know if those are still popular anywhere in the world, but sometimes when I think of an accountant or a banker, I think of those suspenders. Okay, so really just visualize that classical kind of person. Now at this point, the examiner might be like, really? Your boss looks like that? Okay. All right. And then their personality. Now, when you're thinking of personality, think about the topic. So what does it take to be good with money, right? What kind of a personality does it take to be good with money? Students, the key to success in IELTS and in life often is not just thinking about the right answer, it's about thinking of the right question, okay? And so here we want to think about what kind of personality does it take to be good with money? Okay, so Yashin says a person has to be charismatic. Okay, so let's say if we say charismatic, sure. Then charismatic, what kind of an action would charismatic lead to that helps a person make money? Okay. So when you're thinking of this, me says careful person. Okay. Then think about the action of what that would be when it comes to making money. Okay. Imhotep says self-control. Trustworthy. Diana says organized. Yeah, and I want to see the action as well. So when you're giving me the personality, give me the action. So for example, charismatic, I would say able to convince clients to make investments. Okay. Careful, I would say analyzes different opportunities and diversifies the company portfolio. Okay, so these are what are coming to my mind, but you might, think of other ideas. I'm writing these longer sentences for your learning only. If I'm actually writing these notes, because these are your notes in the 1 minute, I would write these much shorter. So my notes would actually look like this. Charismatic, convince. Okay, so I would only have those two words. I would only have the words charismatic and convince. For this one, I would have just the words careful and portfolio. Okay, so my notes would only be two words. All right. Fleeter says sociable, intelligent. Yeah, and again, students, super important here. When you're in the IELTS and you're talking about a person, make sure to match the personality with the action. And when you're doing public speaking, when you're speaking about a person, the same, okay? So in the IELTS, always match the personality with the action. That's super important because if you're talking about a person, and this happens a lot, I've heard this with many candidates and with many people, they just give personalities like, my boss John is really good with money. He's super hardworking. He's very, very careful and a really smart guy. He's also quite charismatic. And it's kind of like, okay, so what does he actually do, right? Like, what is all of this personality surmount to? Like, how does it actually manifest? How does it get realized? And that's where, you have to be careful. To get that band 8, band 9, you really have to focus on actionables. So actions that back up personality. Is everybody clear on that? So talking about a person is a very common question in part 2. And one of the most common mistakes that candidates make is they just talk lots about the personality, very little about the action, and then they repeat about the personality. He's kind, he's generous, he's friendly, he's super helpful. Oh, and did I say he's really hardworking? And then it's like they're in the circle and there's no real clarity, and then it gets confusing for part 3 as well. So you have to be really careful with that, okay? Rodden says, very clear, sir. Okay, good, Rodden. I hope that it's very clear for everybody else also. All right. Okay, so here I have these notes. I'm also looking at these questions, right? Who is this person? How is their personality? Why are they good with money? What do you want to ask him or her? So you want to include all of the answers for that as well. Grad, University of Toronto, U of T is all I would write. So that would be University of Toronto. Which is a very good school. Of course, you can go in a little bit of detail. You've known him for 5 years and so on. Okay, so all of this information you write into your notes. And then as a final step in your last minute, you write your first sentence. So here, Boss Tim and the accountant, and you look at this top question here, who is good with money. Okay, you use that to write your first sentence. So here we go, students. I'm going to do this fairly fast. What I want you to do is I want you to repeat, okay, and write some sentences, write some ideas about what to say in the 2 minutes. I'll take a look at what you're doing, and maybe I will incorporate some of your suggestions, and then afterwards, I will give you a chance to practice this, okay? Tatiana says, good at mathematics and economics. Absolutely, Tatiana. Those are some great ideas. So a person who I know that is great at finances is my boss, Tim, at my accounting and investment firm. He is in his 50s, short and stout, with blue eyes. He always comes to work well dressed in a suit and tie. Okay. So right away, I introduce the person, the topic of the cue card, and I give just a quick picture of who this person is. Okay. Currently, Tim is worth several $1 million, and he is one of the 3 partners that owns Pacific Coast Finance, where I have worked for the past 8 years. During this time, I have come to learn that Tim is basically a genius when it comes to handling money. Okay, so again, I'm reflecting the topic of the cue card. The topic of the cue card, students, so a person who is good with money, that should be like kind of at the front of your brain, your forehead throughout the 2 minutes, and you should reflect on that at least 2-3 times in your 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, I paraphrase that. Is everybody clear on that? So you keep the topic of the cue card kind of in your brain and the front of your brain, like a person who's good with money, a person who's good with money, a person that's great with finances, a person who's a good investor, a person that handles cash. So you kind of keep that in your head so you can kind of spin back to that and keep telling your examiner that I haven't lost the idea of this cue card. Because if you do, your mark goes down, and that's a very common mistake that happens to a lot of candidates is they start talking about investing and they start talking about the way to handle money and they start talking about their own financial planning, and the examiner's kind of like, aren't we talking about a person who's good with money, Tim? Right? All right, so keep that in mind. It's not about a kind person. It's not about a happy person. It's not about a friendly person. It's about a person who's good with money. Okay? All right, so now using my notes, right? So things like charismatic, careful. Firstly, Tim is very charismatic, and this translates to earnings for the company and himself because he is very good at convincing VIP clients to invest in his ideas and portfolio. I'm sure they also recognize that he is organized and careful with money. He believes in having a diversified portfolio and hedging his investments. In fact, before the pandemic, he very cleverly invested in pharmaceutical companies, which yielded a great return over the past 2 years. Okay. All right. So I'm going along here, and I'm thinking about context. I'm thinking about, what's happening in the world. How do smart people invest their money? They do not put all of their eggs in one basket. That's an idiom. That means that you invest in multiple different vehicles to make sure that you're safe and secure. So they do not put all of their eggs in one basket. Now, if you're having trouble keeping up with me, don't worry. We will go through this in just a moment, and I will give you some chances to speak as well, okay? Rashika says, a person who is good with money is Uncle Tim. He has been working as an accountant in a firm for 30 years. He is bald, not bold, bald, slender, tall, and has brown eyes. Bald, Rashika, is with an A, bald. And he always wears a suit. Okay, good. He is hardworking. He often is the first and last person at the office. Okay, now, if I start to run out of time, I definitely want to make sure that I'm answering all of my questions, right? So I look at the card and I'm looking at, okay, how is their personality? I've talked about that. Who is the person? I've talked about that. Why are they good with money? I've kind of talked about that. So what do you want to ask him or her? Make sure you get to all of the questions within the first 90 seconds. Okay, that's super, super important to get a band 8 or a band 9. So make sure to get to all of the questions on the cue card in the first 90 seconds. Okay, if you don't answer all the questions, you could be in trouble and you will lose band scores. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. Given the chance to have a friendly powwow, I think it's spelled like that. Powwow means conversation. It's kind of idiomatic, but it's well understood. It means like a good, deep conversation. So given the chance to have a friendly powwow with Tim, I would certainly pick his brain about his resources. I mean, where he gets his information that allows him to accurately predict future economic trends, like investing in biotech and commodities. Okay, I think in this way I could also really improve my personal financial position. All right, so there you go. And then, you know, the examiner might say, okay, your time is up. We will now continue with part 3. I will ask you a question related to your response. So students, let's do this. Let's look at this cue card. I want you to repeat after me, repeat the questions, and then we will go through this response. Once we're done, you will have a chance to speak and give a response to this. Sounds good, right? Okay. Here we go, everyone. So again, personality backed by action. Okay, here we go. So talk about a person who is good with money. You should say who the person is, how is their personality, why are they good with money, what do you want to ask him or her? Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. A person who I know that is great at finance is my boss, Tim, at my accounting and investment firm. He is in his 50s, short and stout with blue eyes. He always comes to work well dressed in a suit and tie. Currently, Tim is worth several $1 million, and he is one of the 3 partners that owns Pacific Coast Finance, where I have worked for the past 8 years. During this time, I have come to learn that Tim is basically a genius when it comes to handling money. Firstly, Tim is very charismatic, and this translates to earning for the company and himself because he is very good at convincing VIP clients to invest in his ideas and portfolio. I'm sure they also recognize that he is organized and careful with money. He believes in having a diversified portfolio and hedging his investment. In fact, before the pandemic, he very cleverly invested in pharmaceutical companies, which yielded a great return over the past 2 years. He is hardworking. He often is the first and last person at the office. Given the chance to have a friendly powwow with Tim, I would certainly pick his brain about his resources. I mean, where he gets his information that allows him to accurately predict future economic trends, like investing in biotech and commodities. I think in this way, I could also really improve my personal financial position. Okay. Your time is up. I will now ask you a question related to your response and some questions on this topic. How did Tim become so good with money? Oh, well, as far as I know, he attended the University of Toronto Business School, and I'm sure he learned a lot from the great professors there, right? So you keep using your notes and your ideas for part 3, but we're not doing part 3 today. We're doing that tomorrow. We're doing part 2 today, okay? All right, so let's do this, students. I am going to give you a chance to do speaking part 2, you can use the same kind of information, your boss at an accounting firm, or you can use your own. Step number 1, everyone, is go to aehelp.com and create an account. Okay, so that's your number 1 step. And then once you create the account, I will tell you what to do. Okay, so here we go. aehelp.com looks like this with this blue background. Okay, you click the big red button to join the premium package, or this green button. All right, and then you log into your My Student account up at the top above those numbers, My Student account. And in your My Student account, just end the tour for now and click on this Student Partner Speaking button. Okay, click I accept, start speaking. When you get the pop-up for microphone and speaker, make sure you say allow. Okay, if you say don't allow, you're not going to be able to use the chat. You can't speak. There's no audio, right? So you have to allow it. And then you will get into this chat interface where you will see there are always students hanging out now waiting to practice their English with other IELTS students. And the nice thing about this is most people in here will be an intermediate to advanced level, because most people are here for IELTS. And then you'll see master, like one of these will actually be, the name will be master. That's me, okay? So if you send me a message, I want to try, then I can, or I want to volunteer, then I can see your message, and I can see Cassandra, Diana, Muhammad, Pooja, they're all in here. Cassandra and Muhammad are already messaging me, I believe. So I'm going to check this out. Let's see if Cassandra wants to start. Okay, sure, Cassandra, if you want to give it a go. Looks like you're ready and waiting. Okay, let's do it. Okay. So then I can call you. So I'm going to call Cassandra, and then I can assess the speaking. Hello, Cassandra.
Hello, Adrian.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. How are the Philippines today?
It's kind of humid and hot here right now.
That's the typical weather, I would imagine.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's cool and humid where I'm at, and that's the typical weather here. Okay. So, okay, Cassandra, so part 2 speaking, the long part, the cue card, thank you for volunteering. You're very brave. I know it's, this, I think for a lot of students, this part of the IELTS speaking is kind of the scariest part of speaking. But it's important to practice and build confidence. So good for you for volunteering. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Cassandra, is I will go back to the question so you can see the cue card. And then when you're ready, give me a nice full sentence answer, and I will give you some feedback. I will start you off, okay?
Okay.
All right. So talk about a person who is good with money. Your 1 minute preparation time is up, Cass. Please begin speaking.
A person who I know that is great at finances is my grandfather, Joe. He is in his 60s. He's a tall, with medium build, with black eyes, and he carries a briefcase with him when he's going to work. Right now, the old man, Joe, has millions of pesos in his investment, and one of the great things about him is he's a business graduate of University of the Philippines, and he's been an accountant in Metro Bank financial firm for almost 40 years. Um, what I admire about him is, first of all, old man Joe is a very charismatic person. He's good in persuading clients on his financial plans and in his financial portfolio. Also, He is a well organized. He is well organized. He keeps in check all the bank's transactions, um, all the bank notes, and the meetings, financial meetings, whenever uh, they have VIPs, investors with him, and if I given a chance when I have time to talk to him about my financial troubles in life, I would definitely ask him about uh, what's the means and ways and methods uh, on how to be a financially smart individual, like how to handle savings or investing, being a risk
Okay,
taker of
Cass,
cryptos.
your time is up. I'm going to stop you there, and I will
Okay.
take back the questions, and now we'll go on to part 3. All right, Cass, that was really good. That was very, very good. So you kind of stuck with the same idea of what we were practicing, which is smart. So it's good to, make sure that you're doing it right. You changed it a little bit. So you talked, instead about your boss, you talked about your grandfather, Joe, who is an intelligent, tall man. I caught the fact that you said he carries his briefcase with him, which was a nice bit of detail, that briefcase, because I was able to visualize, that he's this professional who's got this leather briefcase and he's going to his office with his briefcase. So that was nice detail. You explained that he's a university graduate. You made sure that you connected his personality to action. So you said he's charismatic. He's able to convince his clients to invest in the portfolio. So that was really smart. I think that would be like a solid band 8.5. So if not 8.5, then 8 for sure. But I think 50% of examiners would grade that an 8.5 level, and maybe 50% an 8, just because of small oddities here and there. You got stuck a couple times, but I think that you could actually make that a definite 8.5 and even a 9 by slowing down a little bit. So it sounded like you were almost rushing to get all of that information out in the given time.
I was kind of nervous and thinking of any other qualities or any other situations too. That's why.
Yeah, and that's what happens to us when we're nervous. So when we're nervous, we either forget to speak or we speak too fast and repetitively. So
Yes,
it's one of those two situations. We either get stuck, we're like, or we're like, and he's super good with finances and he's really great with money and he loves money and he's so good at making money, and then we just keep kind of saying the same. So because we're nervous, right? So that's why we have to control those nerves and slow ourselves down a little bit. But overall, that was still just outstanding. Okay, I thought that was very, very good. These videos are recorded and you can watch this lesson again later on YouTube. So what I recommend to you and to the other students who volunteer and practice is listen back to your response. So listen back to this roughly 90-second answer that you gave, Cass, and think about, okay, I'm going to try this one more time, a little bit slower, about 10% slower, and see if I can't improve my clarity and maybe give a little bit more detail here and there. Okay? So use the recording of the video to kind of say the same response, but with a slightly higher level of quality and a little bit slower. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So keep it up, Cass. Thank you so much for volunteering. And we often refer to, just one last tip, we often refer to our dad or our grandfather as my old man. Like we'll say my old man. It's kind of a slang expression to say my father, my old man. My old man has worked at the factory for 10 years. It means my father has worked at. But you do want to be a little bit sensitive calling your grandfather old man. So okay. So you called him old man, I think 4 or 5 times. I think if Grandpa Joe is listening, he might be like, granddaughter, I might be old, but
how could I paraphrase it?
grandpa,
grandpa.
grandfather.
Can I say grandpa?
Yeah, grandpa, grandfather. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And if you say my old man once, it's okay, but I probably
Okay.
wouldn't. I
Yes.
mean, examiners try to keep a straight face, but you probably have them smiling by the third time you call them your old man. So careful with that, but overall, very good, Cass. Very good.
Can I ask a question? Is it my intonation? It is some monotonous to you, or how's my
I think it's
intonation?
fine. So there's quite a
Yes.
range of intonation among speakers, as long as it doesn't lead to confusion or to awkward communication. It doesn't really matter if you're extremely intonated, like you're really up and down and animated, or if you're a little bit flatter. I think your intonation, it's fine. It's a kind of an intelligent, serious, purposeful type of intonation, but it's proper, so you don't need to worry too much about that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cass. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Cass. Give Cass a little bit of an applause. She did a fantastic job answering this part too. Okay, let's see who else is here. I did see Muhammad here, and Muhammad has since then messaged me 8 times. So let's see if I can reach out to Muhammad. So hello, Adrian. I don't want to volunteer. I just wanted to thank you. I got my results last Friday. Listening 8, reading 7, writing 6, speaking 6.5, and overall 7. My speaking was on the 23rd of January and the rest on the 29th. Your videos are very helpful. I recommend them to everyone. Keep up the good work. You are awesome, Muhammad. Thank you for coming back and sharing that with the rest of us. Muhammad, send me an email. I would love to get your testimonial with all of those comments in one block. So thank you. All right. Yavokir looks like wants to volunteer. So Yavokir says, I'm ready. Okay, I'm going to ask you again, Yavokir, just making sure you're still here. Are you ready? So are you here? Hopefully we can reach out to Javakir. I'm going to ask you that first to make sure that I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Okay. All right. And again, students, you can use the same kind of answer that we practiced in this class, or you can, come up with your own original answer and brave it a little bit more. Yavakir, are you still with us? Are you still here? Students, do hang out, until the class is over, because you never know who I'm going to pick next. And it could be you. All right. You are messaging master. I think Adeola is asking, who do I message? So it's master, that you're all capital letters, I believe. Okay, Javakir, I don't see your response there. So okay, Diana's hanging out here patiently. Diana says, I would like to try. Okay, Diana, are you ready? Diana actually had a full IELTS speaking interview with me yesterday. So let's see if Diana is still here with us. Okay, Diana says yes. All right, Diana.
Hello.
Hi, Diana.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, Diana. How are you doing?
I'm very fine. You?
Good. And you have your exam coming up very soon, if I remember correctly,
Next
right?
week. Yes.
Next week. So you're practicing lots. Good on you. Diana, I didn't ask you the other day when we had our full speaking interview, what are you planning to study?
I'm a nurse. I'm already a nurse. And I'm planning to work and study for a PhD, a master or something.
Okay. So RN, registered nurse. Okay, cool. Thank you for
Yes.
helping people. Be happy and healthy and caring for them. Okay, Diana, so I'm going to show you the question. I'll start you off and then give me a nice full sentence answer, okay?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. Talk about a person who is good with money. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
My uncle Adam is very good with money and he works in a bank. He is a very tall man. He always wears his glasses and his suits, so he's very professional. And he can be friendly and very social, but when it comes up to work, he is a very well-organized banker, and he is very careful in every project and charismatic every time he faces clients. He is very hardworking and is very focused on achieving his goals. He built his career step by step, starting with his studies of business and economics in university. And then he approached the bank by low responsibility positions. And after 5 years of experience, his boss decided to promote him and gave him a higher level position. I would really be interested in asking him, how did he convince his boss after only 5 years of working to promote him to his actual well-paid level?
Okay, and your time is up. I'll stop you there. And now we will move on to part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions on this topic. Okay, good. So Diana, that was solid. That was very good. All right, that was hopefully you get that question because you'll do very well. I would say that's a 9. I mean, you can always improve. So 9 doesn't mean perfect, and everybody can improve. Even a band 9 can improve, believe it or not. But at this point, you know, as the examiner, I'm thinking, okay, you covered all of the questions. You gave me a lot of clarity. You had excellent structure. You had good detail. You did not make grammatical mistakes. So your speaking was virtually flawless in the sense of you did not sound like a person that's foreign to my ear. So I can tell that, you know, you have a slight accent, but there is absolutely no unnatural English in your response. And with this level of complexity, it's a band 9, okay? Let me tell you what you did really well. So first of all, you started by answering the question clearly, directly with a simple sentence to put you on track. And I think that was key to your success, because just like in any kind of race, the first couple of seconds, the starting of that race, is key to winning the race. And you said, my Uncle Adam is very good with money and he works in a bank. And you even took a pause here at my Uncle Adam is very good with money. And I could feel that, okay, you're thinking about, you know, should I really go with some more complex language here, or should I just kind of finish this and answer this clearly, and then I can get into more detail and content? And you chose the latter. So you chose to keep it simple and clear for that first sentence. And that was a very wise decision. Okay. So you said, my Uncle Adam. By the way, I love how both you and Cass introduced the person by name. So you said Adam, Cass said Joe. It immediately gives a stronger personality to the individual that you're talking about. You didn't just say, my uncle is very good with money. So you said, my Uncle Adam is very good with money and he works for a bank. He's a very tall man. He always wears his glasses and his suit, so he's very professional. Very nice, quick, and to the point. I can picture him. Okay, I picture your Uncle Adam, this tall professional banker. And then you said he's very organized, careful, charismatic, and this is where you can improve when you're practicing. Diana, you started to list those personalities without really giving action. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe with more examples, it would be better.
Actions. Think about actions. So as soon as you say he is very organized, okay, then you know you can say that he has developed an exceptional technique for his computer filing names. He never loses information about his clients. Even his house has everything in the right place. So this makes him very efficient in earning money. So just, you know, kind of really practice. But then you saved yourself. So you realized, okay, I'm just giving a lot of personality here and there's no actions, and I'm kind of swimming off into this big ocean of personality. So then you said, okay, I have to say something here that's that can be kind of grasped by my listener. And you said, well, he finished his business and economic studies in university after 5 years of experience. So you started to use numbers to help you as well, which was really clever. Okay. Overall, that was very good. Not too many complaints. Just again, be careful with personality backed by action. Okay. So practice that when speaking about people. Any questions?
Not questions, but I tried to improve from the practice speaking we did last day. I tried to improve this, trying to be more simple, but with not simpler grammar, or I try to be more clever in the answer.
Yeah. And you did that here, and that was absolutely clear. So simple ideas, but not necessarily simple grammar. That's the key. Yep. And you kept that in mind. Very good. Keep it up. You're on the right track. Okay, for a great band score. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, give Diana an applause. That was really good. Diana had one speaking session with me actually just yesterday, and it's really nice when I see that clients are using the information that I give them to improve their speaking and their speaking scores. So fantastic. Okay, very, very good. All right. So let's see, we're out of time, everyone. I mean, I would love to give everybody a chance. I see Tatiana and Khadija are in here. I will look for you next time, tomorrow, in fact, because tomorrow we're doing speaking part 3. So Tatiana, Khadija, I will have it up here. Saeed, I see you up here as well. So I'll be looking for those. You know what? In fact, just so you know that I will keep my word, I have my Post-its here, which are green, so you can't see them. It's like the invisible green Post-its with the green screen. But I'm writing down your names, Saeed, Tatiana, and Khadija. So I will have that in front of me, and you will be the first on my list tomorrow of volunteers for part 3. I promise you this. And for all of our students watching, thank you so much. Make sure to come back tomorrow for part 1 and 3. We usually have the chance to speak to at least 4 or 5 individuals. So I will be looking for you all tomorrow. Carolina, thank you so much for moderating this class, making it smooth and on track. Everyone, go to aehelp.com for academic IELTS and to book full IELTS speaking interviews with me and other professionals. gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. To join our premium IELTS package, use the code IGET9 for the next 3 days only. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS exam preparation, so you're in great hands with us. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here on the southern tip of Vancouver Island, getting ready for Family Day weekend. Bye for now, everyone. Much love to all of you, and see you tomorrow for Q&A with members and speaking part 3 with our subscribers. Goodbye.